Hello, everyone. Gino Cuddy here, coming at you with what I hope is going to become a regular feature here on this channel, which is a new series called Sunset Thrifts. I'm sort of cribbing the idea from my friend Ben Minot of the YouTube channel Oddity Archive. There are times when Ben goes out to thrift stores in his local area and just films and shows what he bought. And I figured I'd do the same. So, starting off, we went to Timeless Consignments in Meriden, Connecticut. Uh, this was a rather hot day, and so I we didn't do much thrifting today, but we went to a couple stores. That Lone Ranger set there. I was gonna pick it up, but it was like $3. I mean, it was new and sealed, but it was one of those Platinum Disc Corporation sets, and I don't know. I don't know what the quality would have been like on those. So I decided not to pick that up. But that set actually has been there for quite some time. So I figured, if it's there next time, I might pick it up. Just because, big fan of westerns that I am. Other than that, not really much here of interest, unfortunately. Didn't really see much. A lot of newer things that, this old geezer here, your host here, isn't really interested in. Now, this was rather interesting. Every time I come to this store, Timeless Consignment, I see this rack of kung fu slash karate films. And whenever I come here and I see that, it makes me think of my friend Clive Davis of the podcast In Shawscope, and where he covers a lot of Japanese martial arts films, and he also does a show called Yucca which is all about kung fu movies. So I don't know if Clive will watch this, but if there are any titles here, if you could see any titles here that strike your fancy, let me know, and I'll see what I could do about transferring some of these and sending them your way. Um, I mean, there's quite a selection here. Some like Ocean Shores type things, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. I mean, this admittedly, karate films aren't really my department, but if there's anything here that interests you, Clive, please let me know, and I'll see about getting you some stuff. Now we move on to the cassettes, and there really wasn't much of interest here. I mean, there were a few like little things like I'm big into country, like retro country. In retrospect, I probably should have picked up that Dolly Parton cassette, but the prices here are a little, they're up there. Let me just be charitable and say that they're up there. I mean, the guy who runs the store is a really nice guy, and he always likes it when we come into the store and we buy things and whatever. But his prices are kind of like on the verge of what you would pay for on eBay, for example. Now, that David Hasselhoff album, I probably should have picked it up as a fan of synth pop, but again, it's just is this something I really really want? And the guy has a lot of 8 tracks. I mean, really, if I'm being completely honest, the only cassette there that I probably would have picked up would have been that Meatloaf cassette, Bad Out of Hell, because I hear that's a really good album. And as a fan of hard rock, heavy metal, I think it's something that I should have in my collection. But I actually didn't look and see what he was charging for that. So again, if it's there next time, I might pick that up if it's there. Other than that, nothing really of interest. Um, Now we move on to the movies and DVDs and stuff. That's a really interesting looking Cactus Jack wrestling collection from public domain label Delta. I don't know what's on that exactly, but it looked interesting enough. Where if it's there again, if it's there next time, I might consider picking it up. Other than that, just a bunch of, Disney tapes. A lot of these I already have in my collection. And I really haven't collected much Disney stuff lately, mostly because I have utter disgust for the company in its current stage. But I still do have the affection for Disney of the past. So I don't know if there's anything rare in there, like a rare variant of something, I'll pick it up. Now here's something rather interesting: a Good Times home videotape of Roy Rogers. I don't know exactly what the show is. It says the Roy Rogers Writers Club. Now I don't know what that series is. I'm going to actually take a pass at transferring that tape, and I'll upload it to my other channel, Gino's House of Rare Films, a little later on. So and he has a lot of lunch boxes up there. And you could pretty much see the prices there. That Roy Rogers lunchbox I would love to have, but unfortunately it's like 35 bucks, and I really don't have that kind of money, unfortunately. So that was pretty much it for this particular store. Pretty good store, and I'll be back and I'll probably film some more stuff. Just wasn't really feeling that good that today, but I'll certainly be back. And now we move on to our second store, Goodwill, in Middletown, Connecticut, right off Washington Street. Here are the DVDs. Not really much of interest, just the regular stuff that you're apt to see here. The only DVD that was kind of interesting was this Dudley Do-Right collection that I'm throwing around here. This Dudley Do-Right collection is best of Dudley Do-Right from, I believe, Classic Media. But that was really the only interesting DVD that they had here. Otherwise, it was just a bunch of the usual suspects, a bunch of games that I really have no interest in because I'm not really a gamer. And yep, just the same old boring Franks and Beans, unfortunately. So there's that. Um, their DVD and VHS selection has dwindled substantially. They used to have a lot more, but unfortunately, I guess they're not really putting it on the shelves anymore. Unfortunately, so yeah, there's really not much to choose from, and I don't know if I'll necessarily be back there. I might if they've moved enough stuff, but yeah, just not enough of a good enough DVD or video selection for to choose from, especially if you're interested in like the kind of esoterica that I'm interested in. I really have no use for a lot of this mainstream stuff that you see here. Um, so so yeah, but I just figured I'd show all of these, but yeah, nothing really of interest. Um, Unfortunately, which is probably for the better considering the old wallet. Um, I just noticed that Criterion disc. I don't know. I don't know what the title of that was, but I don't know. Like, if it's not a movie I care for, I'm not going to pick it up, even if it's a Criterion disc or something. Like, it has to be a movie that I really like, or something that I'm interested in, because I'm not just going to, collect just a bunch of random things. And now we move on to the vinyl selection, the records. Not really much of interest here. Just the usual stuff that you see at stores like this. I maybe would have gotten that Glenn Miller because I do kind of like him, but other than that, just the basic. I had to laugh when I saw that some of those Mitch Miller records because it just put me to mind of that one line in the Munsters in the episode where Eddie grows his beard, and Grandpa makes a side remark that, "Hey Eddie, you know who you look like? Mitch Miller." To which Eddie responds with a massive cry. So whenever I see Mitch Miller, that's all I ever think of is that line in the Munsters. Yeah, again, just nothing really of interest. The Eddie Arnold, I love Eddie Arnold. He's one of my favorite country artists, but unfortunately, the wrong album was in there, so I did not pick that up. But I mean, the vinyl was in good shape, but I just didn't pick it up because, the wrong album was in there. Other than that, just, the basic, more Mitch Miller. Other than that, just the same boring old Franks and Beans. Not really much of interest, nothing that I really cared for. Saw Betty Garrett in the cast of that. All I remember her from as being Archie Bunker's neighbor on All in the Family. Um, but yeah, nothing really of interest in the records. Vic Damone. With Lanny Ross. Now, I like Lanny Ross. I liked him as Prince David in the Max Fleischer film Gulliver's Travels, but that's all I really know him from. Other than that, that 12 million sellers, remember how great? Uh, that made me think of my friend Ben Minot. I don't know if that's what he calls a record ripoff or not, but if that's something that looks like it could be one of those and he would want to excerpt that on his show, then, if it's still there and I go there again, I'll certainly pick that up for him. Uh, yeah, just other than that, that was part of a record set, so I didn't pick that up, but if all those were there, I certainly would have. Mary Wells, that's the only one of those that looked remotely interesting because, Motown, and I like Motown, preferably the Temptations and such. But other than that, really no vinyls of interest, no records of interest. I shouldn't call them vinyls because that's what the hipsters call them. Yeah, no records of interest really. And again, I would have grabbed that Annie Arnold, but unfortunately, wrong album, so I didn't bother. Pipe organ, that would have been kind of interesting, I guess, because I do like organ music, but just, is this something I really want in my collection? And I said no. Uh, I know that he's not a popular figure these days, but I do have to say I still love Bill Cosby, and he did so much for me in my life, so I picked that up. And the final haul is that Roy Rogers tape and the Bill Cosby CD comedy compilation. And the price of this haul was about $2.99. Hopefully the next episode will be better, but thank you guys for watching. And check out my PayPal in the description below and my tip top jar. And if you want to support me, and thank you all for watching. Have a good one. Peace.